Yes, we're recording. Welcome back, everybody, to the channel, and I hope you're having a beautiful day. Mine was a little bit boring today, but let's spice it up with a video. So today's topic is working with certain cameras, and are they good for work or are they not really? So that's what we're going to talk about today. In this case, we are going to talk about the Fujifilm X-T2, which currently I am using as my primary workhorse of a camera. Now we're a little bit off. So the X-T2, which I am currently using as my main workhorse of a camera. Now the X-T2, I mean, we can argue about this, but most people will say that it's a pretty dated camera, I think. And dated or old, if you want to say that, doesn't mean bad. The old cameras are not necessarily bad, and that's something I figured like long before now, even my most recent past camera, if that makes sense. So the last camera I've used but sold by now, the Nikon D4, that was, for example, a camera from 2012, so almost 10 years old. But the camera worked really well, and honestly, I can't really say any bad thing about it. I probably will post a review with footage that I have. I'm not really sure yet, but that's not the case today. So X-T2. I am a photojournalist, almost full-time now, and most of the times I'm shooting political stuff, few protests here and there. Honestly, there could be more protests, like they're always instantly more exciting than politicians just talking, but that's a little side rant. So most of the times I'm shooting these political stuff, and sometimes it's like the perfect conditions ever. So sun's shining, there's a lot of light, and it's warm, and it's, you know, all the perfect conditions. But then sometimes it's not. So it's in a poorly lit building, for example. And I think the main thing about a workhorse camera, if you're shooting in this kind of field, is going to be autofocus. Because, you know, if you have shots that are not sharp, then those shots can't really be used. So autofocus in this case is very, very important. The sensor size and image quality, I feel like not too much, but we're gonna talk about that too. So the first aspect, autofocus with the X-T2. Now the camera has 3 autofocus modes, as most cameras have. One is a single point autofocus, and there's the continuous autofocus, and there's the manual focus, which you can use if you are shooting through something and there are lots of reflections, and maybe autofocus can't handle that. But to be honest, most AF systems can't handle that. The single autofocus with the Fuji, it works very well, and I don't really want to get into that because it really is just magnificent. It's fast, it's accurate, and it works really great. I mean, it kind of, I think, has stuff to do with the lenses. And by the way, the lenses I am currently using are the Viltrox 23 f1.4, which is currently on the camera. So if you want to see video quality and video autofocus, that's how it performs in a more controlled environment. But it performs very good outside too. There's the Viltrox 26 f1.4, which is more of my portrait lens. It's a really good lens. And there's a fun one, which is the Fujifilm XC15 to 45. Still see a box. Okay, yeah, we're in focus there. So this is the XC15 to 45, and honestly, for the first time I only picked this lens up because I thought it's gonna be fun to use. And you know, just look at this dangly little plastic thing. But to be honest, I'm surprised. This is a really good lens. Let's move on. So I think that's partly the reason why autofocus is good, is because I'm using decent lenses. But then the other reason is that the camera, the processor and everything, you know, the AF algorithms are, I'm not really into those nerdy stuff, but you know what I'm talking about. It's very good for stills photography. You can't really, you know, I mean, you can, but it's like most of the shots I've taken are pretty much all in focus when I need them to be in focus. The AFC, on the other hand, has a few little quirks, but you can fine-tune it really well in Fuji camera. What the hell are you doing?
This is really fun. I mean, we just talked about how the autofocus is not too bad. And there this is happening.
Are we good? I'm not sure. Right. We're back, I guess. So the AFC, yes, the AFC has some quirks, but there's really a workaround kind of for every situation you can come across. For example, Fuji has this thing in their menus which is called the AFC mode or something adjustment. I will put up somewhere on the screen what that is, because I can't remember the exact menu item. And there you can fine-tune, you know, the AF track speed, the sensitivity, the mode, like should it if something comes, you know, right in front of your face, should it focus on that or should it just keep tracking you, which is really great. And also another thing that you can do is to either set your camera to single point AFC or zone, which works really good with my X-T2 and my lenses. Most of the times I use zone and I select a medium box which I can very quickly move around. Manual focus, I don't know, I am not really using manual focus all that much because autofocus kind of just handles everything fine. But I've tried it, and you've got a ton of help with your autofocus. You can set focus peaking or digital split image. There's a manual focus zoom even, so when you're manual focusing it zooms in and you can see like up close what you're focusing. For example, if you are focusing on an eye, it's really nice to have that function to be able to focus on somebody's eye, like the eyeball or the iris, not the eyelashes, which you might not necessarily see if you just would focus, you know, normally without a zoom. There's a bug in the room. Got it. Yeah, I think we've discussed focusing modes and autofocus and all that. So all in all, I would say the autofocus performance is good enough. It's obviously not the best in the game. I'm sure most other Fujifilm cameras that are younger than this model handle autofocus much better. But honestly, you know, you don't need rocket science for this job. It's not that complicated. And the X-T2 handles it very well. So there's your answer to that question. Another very important thing that you need to take into account, I think, is the usability. How quick can you change your settings and how quick can you reach everything? And for that, I have mixed feelings because obviously you got the dials and you can use the dials. The dials feel really good to use, and I sort of kind of got used to it. And you can set the command dials to do the ISO or aperture or shutter speed selection, but that I think just a tiny bit takes away from the Fuji magic. But it's fine, you can do that. But what's more important is that you get switches for everything. For example, you got a switch for driver modes, from single shot to continuous low to continuous high to movie, or bracketing if that's something you do. So you can very quickly switch in between those. You can very quickly switch the metering modes, yes. So you've got a switch for that too. Also, you've got a joystick, which I thought, when I did not have a joystick, I thought I don't really need it. But to be honest, I appreciate it. From the D4, where I had... No, wait, it's the X Pro 2. That's the first time I had a joystick. So yeah, from then on, I just love joysticks. And when I have a camera that does not have a joystick under the D-pad to switch and change autofocus points, I'm just a tiny bit lost. I mean, I manage, obviously, but like, it's so much nicer to have a joystick. We're gonna talk about the joystick though, because it's not all and well, and that doesn't make sense, but you know what I mean. The joystick on the X-T2 is this very small, tiny, dinky thing. It's there, and I love it for that reason. But for the love of God, why can't you just make it like a little bit bigger? For example, if I can and want to, and I'm not lazy, I'm gonna shoot a video of how the X-T2 joystick looks like, and then how the joystick looks like on the portrait grip. We're gonna get to the grip too, because that's something that's important too. So yeah, the usability is really good, and also there are quick menus, so the menu thing you don't really need to touch like ever. And I'm grateful for that, because Fuji menus are not like the most user-friendly things I've seen in my time. The grip, I think is going to be our last important point of the video. The grip is like, I would say, needed if you shoot stuff like protests or weddings or anything that takes up more than an hour of working time. And the camera body itself is quite small. If you're using bigger lenses, kind of even bigger than this one, but this is almost in the ballpark, the 56-1.4, but even bigger than this one. So like 50-140, for example. It is really kind of hard to balance and hold the camera for extended periods of time. Yeah, this is the grip I use. This is a Mikey, I don't know how to pronounce it. So yeah, this is the grip. Look at this nice little joystick here. It's so much nicer than the one on the body. And yeah, it's kind of a necessity if you want to shoot for extended periods of time, because it adds a little extra grip to the body grip, and also it takes 2 batteries. So it has this, just to show you, it has this tray, and it has 2 batteries, and also you have one in the camera body. So yeah, it's just really nice. It slides in, so it slides in like this if you want to focus. Anyways, and then this is how you undo it. Yeah, so that's the thing. So overall, if somebody tells you that the X-T2 is like not good for shooting professional stuff, just gently smack them in the face or the back of the head, because it is absolutely amazing for shooting stuff professionally. Trust me, I do it. Photography is my job. It's definitely okay to work with, and it's a great camera. It's small, it's compact, it's light. I love it, and my back definitely does appreciate it. So yeah, and that's kind of the end of the video. Thank you for watching, and yeah, yeah, I'm just genuinely happy that you watched this video, and yeah, that's it. I hope you have an amazing day, and catch you in the next one.